Good morning, all you beautiful, blessed souls out there. Dante here, and I'm by Lake Atitlan. We've got the volcanoes in the background, we've got the birds chirping, we've got some weed chopping action going on next door. Sorry about that. So, in this video, I'm gonna explain a bit about the shift from a masculine paradigm to a feminine paradigm in the collective. And I'm going to talk specifically about how that manifests in our own lives, as we already see this shift happening on external levels. We can look at patriarchy and ancient societies that were all kind of ruled by men, and now we still have that, though the way that that system has been built is starting to crumble. And a lot of people are taking active steps into deconstructing that, though the biggest step that we can take into bringing about this new time is inside allowing the feminine energy to freely and openly express, and that can make for great and brilliant changes in our lives. So feminine energy is not meaning we have to express ourselves in very feminine appearing or acting ways. A lot of that is a construct. That's another topic. This degree of feminine energy is really creative, intuitive, flowing. It's the heart. We can feel the feminine energy in our body as the left side and the right brain. And the right brain is what processes creative energy and non-rational thought, holistic thought, instead of the left brain, which sees everything as a part and focuses on how to mechanically get that part into gear. The right brain sees the whole and approaches things as a whole. Well, this part is a reflection of that part. These parts are all microcosms of each other. So we have to look at the big picture first. Wow, those birds. And we have to take in the beauty of life as well to be in that feminine receptive state. What this really means for individuals is shifting from a very active doing focus into a yin or receptive focus. So yin is not about being lazy, as a lot of people think, associate with that passive, receptive yin component. Yin is about being open, being able to receive, and most importantly, it's here to receive the passion, the connection, the flow, the joy of our heart that brings us into the right direction. So masculine or yang focus is completely focused at the task at hand. The yin receptive focus is more focused on the way that we do what it is we're doing. So it's about how much love we can bring into it. How much can we fine tune what we're doing so that all of our hearts can shine within it. And, you know, a lot of this has so much to do with what channeled beings say. Bashar, who is a teacher of mine, in many ways, their transmissions helped me open the channel. Bashar says, follow your highest excitement to the best of your ability, with no insistence on a particular outcome. And Bashar, in further transmissions, explains that following our highest excitement is best correlated with the heart. The heart is the component within us that receives that intuitive impulse from spirit. It can seem, especially at first, as it comes from above, because our crown chakra has to open as well to allow that energy to receive into the heart. So that's the first part, to the best of our ability. And that is the part that the mind, which is also a more yang or masculine component, needs to kind of tune itself into gear, to apply all of the mental concepts that we have, the belief systems, the ways that we perceive reality, the ways that we think, then come together to listen to the heart and act in the best interest of the heart. and then no insistence on a particular outcome. So that is very much related to this idea of surrender. So in this way, I forget what Bashar says exactly, that surrender, though, opens us up to spirit. It opens us up to not forcing or pushing our agenda in any specific way. And when we do that, and we can really open up fully to the spiritual energy of our own higher self, then everything works out easier. Because that insistent vibration that it has to happen this way, it has to happen in this particular timing, it has to happen with this specific person, is always creating a kind of short circuit of anxiety in our system. And we know that when we're anxious, moving through the kitchen will break things. And when we're anxious going about our life, we will break things that we may not see at first. We may break relationships and the invisible energy, the sort of connections between us, we may shatter because we are so much in this anxious state. So we have to see everything as, again, parts of a whole in this new time. And so the masculine component, again, working out all the details, getting to the goal. But the feminine component is understanding that the way that you do things matters more. State of being is everything. So from this perspective, everything that you do that expands your heart and makes you filled with joy and love and feel connected to the world around you is part of the bigger purpose. And when we understand that state of being is everything, when we start to approach our goals, we can understand that if we're not doing things that also fill us with joy and give our heart support and balance and meet every single one of our needs, then we can actually achieve our goals. Though the old way that we do things in our world has been so much oriented towards achieving goals that we consider things like relationships and creativity and relaxation secondary. But that could not be furthest from the truth. In this new paradigm, there almost is no higher or lower needs or goals. If it matters in your heart, and if it has an emotional charge of love and joy and connection for you, then it's part of the whole thing. Every part is a microcosm of the whole. And if it has any meaning to you and you're not acting on it, then the other goals and experiences in your life are also going to have that sense of incompletion because you're neglecting one part of yourself. So another manifestation of this more masculine way of doing things is all or nothing thinking. Because, again, this masculine component is logical, is rational, is reasoning. And so this kind of thinking leads us to see things in black and white. It's either this or that. It is either good or it's bad. It is either blue or it's red. It is, there's so many, it's either light or it's dark. And then taking this further, like I have shared in another recent video, the 5D epistemology with my friend Lou about how this is manifesting in the ways that individuals are perceiving the collective and collective issues. It's really dangerous when we take all or nothing thinking into that. We have to come into relative thinking and reasoning. So this manifests in people's lives when they think, either I am going to become a spiritual teacher or I'm going to be a painter. Either I am going to be a tech worker or I'm going to be a meditator or a musician. Either I am going to be a clown or I'm going to be a businessman. And when we start to see all of the different parts that are within us, and we understand that we're part of an oversoul with hundreds of thousands of other incarnations that can all connect with this one and open up different archetypes and talents within us, then we really start to see that we can be all of it. We can be this and we can be that. We can be the businessman and we can be the clown and the musician and the artist and the spiritual teacher and the healer and the alchemist and the witch and the herbalist and the politician and the activist and the whatever, all at the same time. So ending this dilemma in ourselves where we force ourselves to choose between two extremes and allow ourselves to choose both. And also, again, letting go of the insistence on the particular outcome, that it doesn't matter when it happens, it doesn't matter how it happens, I'm just listening to my heart in the moment. That is the highest way of going about anything in our lives. So this no insistence on a particular outcome is really powerful, because when we stop pushing again as to when it will happen, we take off the pressure. We take away that anxiety that will cause us to break things and sabotage ourselves, and we come to a centered and calm place in our heart where we know that even our mistakes are part of our lessons. So as we go about this process, I'm going to take a sip of chocolate for a moment. And so as we go this understanding, as we're going about this journey, that thought that I had? We need to get used to moving. I shoot videos in lines, but in curves, and sometimes they get paused, and allowing that to be kind of a dance. Understanding again that everything that is a part of our passion is adding something to the bigger picture of what we're here to create. And every single aspect that fills us with love and joy adds to that clear and pure state of being that can then ripple out to others as we go about following our passion. We meet so many others, and it's truly that state of being that leaves the greatest impact on others. So if you are doing a project and you're doing it with an energy of kind of half-heartedness and you're kind of anxious beneath it, you're not going to leave that pure, powerful impact on others. But if you are fully impassioned and fully excited about everything you're doing, that's going to leave another level of impact on others that is going to excite them as well. And this really comes back to that true understanding that your state of being is everything. It's not as much in what you're doing, but it's in how you're feeling about what you're doing. And we see in the world now, in the Western society, that people don't really care about how they feel. They really care about getting things done, and then that can give them some time to take vacation here and there, where their feeling good is kind of like this very small portion of the time, and their playing by the rules is more of the time. And that system is going to fall apart, and we're seeing that now in our coronavirus world, where people can't work and economies are falling apart, and some people are saying, oh no, this is such a terrible thing, but there's a gift in all of this that allows us to really reprioritize. And if you can really apply this understanding and see how it works in your own life, you can be that kind of beacon of light that shines out to the world like, no, it's not so bad that we're not working as much and we're not producing as much right now. The greatest gift in this is giving us the freedom to feel from our heart what is the best for us in every moment. And I really guide people to always come back to this heart-centered place and allow every decision to come from here, from the very small things as to what you do. Do you go to this restaurant or go and cook your own meal? Do you call up a friend, or do you watch a movie? You know, these small decisions, are we making them unconsciously? Are we really feeling, in this moment, I have the freedom to choose an infinite amount of different potential things? Even without leaving my house in this digital age, I can choose between an a seemingly infinite amount of different activities and an infinite amount of different ways of doing that. If I really tune into my heart and allow my imagination to open, which of those activities am I going to be drawn to? Which of those activities is going to light me up the most? And we can come to see that that state of being that is filled with love and joy attracts synchronicity. It brings in new energies. It ripples out to others and fills them with joy as well. When we're in that high vibrating space in a room with other people, they will tune into that energy. People will come to that energy. And more all the time, I'm seeing more and more people attracted to this energy. They're like, oh wow, I want to feel that vibration of what you're feeling. And it's really incredible how love just ripples out through making those small love-based decisions, coming back to the heart time and time again. So back to the original point, the rise of the feminine is the rise of the heart. It's the rise of heart-centered living. And what this brings us to experience more and more of the time is that we are not separate beings. Because again, this heart-centered, feminine, right-brained way is seeing things as a whole. And then we stop seeing ourselves as just individuals. We see ourselves as part of the whole. And this has a lot to do with this Aquarius-Leo axis. We can see in astrology that we're coming into the age of Aquarius. I've met some pretty well-studied people who live in Egypt and have studied the mysteries of the temples that say this might actually be the age of Leo. But if you really get into astrology, you see that the opposites on an axis are not so different. They're polar takes on the same core vibration. So Leo is all about the heart and love and presenting ourselves and being seen and witnessed. And Aquarius is all about the society, balancing and equalizing the society, making it equal for everybody, bringing out the individual qualities in everyone, finding uniqueness, innovating, changing and transforming the way that we do things. And you can see that in Aquarius, it may be about the bigger picture, but the individual qualities are highlighted within everybody. And we come to see that the qualities that make us unique and different and distinct from everyone don't separate us from the whole at all. Actually, it just shows us where our unique gift is to fit into the larger framework of things. How we differentiate is then the way that we uniquely give back to others and give back to the world. And we can only find that by coming into our heart and asking us, what does my heart want? Again and again, what does my heart want? And when we break the habitual pattern of asking our mind first, well, what's going to yield the most results? What's going to get me there the quickest? When we stop going in a straight line to our goals and move in the curve takes longer to get there. But going by the curve, we see a beautiful sunset. We listen to an amazing song. We eat really delicious food. We focus on our loving relationships. And we're so filled with love and joy, by the time that we get to the goal, we feel better. You may know that when you rush to achieve it and you get there, it's kind of like, it feels like a little bit stale because you robbed yourself of so much joy. You robbed yourself of that sunset and that relationship and that beautiful song on the way to your goal. And you just feel like, oh, I got this thing that I wanted, but I'm still stuck in the gross feeling of wanting more and wanting more. And when we live from the heart and we go in the curved lines and move in that direction, it may take longer to get there, but we're not, and we may still want things, but we're not kind of plagued by our wanting, because we understand that by following this creative, explorative path, we fill ourselves with more joy in every moment. That energy of the heart fills us, and we can meet every goal and every challenge with that joy and enthusiasm. When we move in these straight lines, we get to angles, and the angles are kind of like challenge points. And challenge points are great. We'll still experience them with curves, but the curves give us a more fluid, flowing way of meeting the challenges so that we're not overwhelmed by them, and the mental pressure of figuring out how is destroying us. It's more of this heart-centered adaptability, allowing us to say, okay, things are different now. And so we can flow into this. I'm just reminded of a quote. I'm not a proponent of social Darwinism, and I'm not one that actually believes in this theory of evolution being a channel, working with the understanding that the ETs and others are showing us that we are a species that was created. We did evolve to some extent. Part of that theory is true, but it's not the complete truth. Darwin actually said, though, that the species that those who survive are not the strongest, most intelligent, and most fit. It's those that are most adaptable to change. And we're in powerful, incredible, changing times. You know, in astrology, we're in Venus and Uranus and Taurus. That's a long influence. And Taurus is associated with Venus, though, you know, Venus is the closest planet to us, or maybe it's Mars. Anyway, what I'm saying is Taurus is actually more about the Earth than about Venus. It's fixed Earth element. It's all about being here on the planet. And the way that we're relating to the Earth itself is changing. There's no more powerful of a Uranus influence than Uranus and Taurus, because that's changing literally everything. So, yeah. When we can adapt to those changes that are occurring on our planet, then we will really evolve into a new type of species. We're becoming this galactic species, and it's a very powerful and exciting influence and energy. Alrighty, I think that's it for the video. So live from your heart. Today is the day of the eclipse and the solstice, though I'm sure that I'm not going to upload this till tomorrow because I'm going live a little bit. So there's this funny gap in time between when people can see this and when I'm recording it. But anyway, powerful day, powerful energies. And I hope that all of the interesting sounds in the background did not distract from this video. I actually find that the Mayan sounds a lot like these light languages, and I'm getting these transmissions when I'm hearing it and not understanding it. So I hope you also experienced it in that way. And a lot of love and blessings to you, wishing you the most glorious and magnificent day. Thanks for tuning into these videos. Subscribe if you will, like if you can, share to others if you feel inspired, and keep tuning in and let me know what you think and what you want to hear more about. I'm here to share the best wisdom that I can with you, and I'm doing this because it fills my heart with love and joy, and if I didn't experience that, I wouldn't do that, knowing what I know, knowing what I explained in this video. If this wasn't something that filled me with love and joy, I wouldn't be here. So let that apply to everything in your life. If it doesn't fill you with love and joy, get rid of it, unless it is a clear and definitive step towards something that brings you love and joy. And in that case, make sure you're doing enough things that fill you with love and joy that it's okay to take that hard step and it's not a burden. Much light and blessings to you. Oh look, I got this tattoo. I've been hiding it because it shouldn't be in the sun, but there it is. You'll probably see it in the future videos. Okay, bye-bye.